Every good home needs a solid foundation.
I'm very grateful for it.
That's the case for Jeff Scott. He says his wife and 5 children are the reason he's standing on his own 2 feet.
We just made it together, and here we are today.
After losing his job a few years ago due to a knee injury, Scott says he and his family went through some tough transitions.
We couldn't afford rent. I lost my truck. We lost everything financially.
And when his original home's physical foundation began to collapse from mold and deterioration, Scott says it almost tore his family apart.
Because they would have had to go to North Carolina, and I couldn't be away from my family. So, excuse me, because that's why I believe that's where my strength comes from, my family.
After waiting 2 years for a new home through Habitat for Humanity, Scott and his family didn't give up as they now wait for volunteers to finish building. Mimi Mitchell with the Habitat for Humanity says it's families like the Scotts who keep her and others building the pillars of this home.
You know, a lot of us come from some type of adversity and have to go through something. That's one thing that I absolutely love about his story, and just about, you know, how we get to help and be part of that story.
For Scott, this home now means a new foundation for his family to stand on together.
It is definitely inspiring for me because we fought through it.
In Hampton, I'm Ann Sparaco.
Yeah, we fought through it.
For 13 News Now. History can often slip between the cracks. But now a new film in the works is looking to shine a light on the historic World War II All-Black Women's Army Corps unit.
This is really big. I mean, this was 800 plus women.
Anita Fletcher in Portsmouth takes pride in her mother's service in the 6888th Central Postal Directory Battalion, otherwise known as the 6888. Audrey Whitney served as a first-class officer along with hundreds of other women who sorted through millions of pieces of backlogged mail to clear a vital line of communication during the war.
I'm so grateful that my mom was still alive when I actually grasped a little bit more of it, or what was going on. And she was talking about it, and more so as she got older. But I had no idea it was going to go this far.
After dozens of stories across the nation about this unit of World War II pioneers, actor and director Tyler Perry is shining a light on the women's historical impacts and projecting it on a bigger screen.
And when I saw the picture of Kerry Washington with her uniform on, it looked just like where they were. You know, like everything else, you know, especially with African Americans, it's put on the shelf. You know, you don't really expect for anything to come out, but this is a new day.
Fletcher says it's part of a wave of recognition for her mother's hard work, keeping it in the spotlight for years to come.
I could tell you right now what she would say. It's about time.
In Portsmouth.
That's exactly what she would say. It's about time.
I'm Ann Sparaco for 13 News Now. We all need a place to call home.
It's almost like glass.
Lake Chesapeake.
And sometimes we have to travel far to find it.
There's a smelly, oh, just flew on the edge there.
For these creatures, it's no different.
Yeah, we moved these birds from right over here, from South Island. The birds were nesting over there when the construction started taking place.
In the mouth of the Chesapeake Bay, by the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel, birds of dozens of different species flocked to Fort Wool a few years ago.
As many as 25,000 animals.
Wildlife biologist Becky Gwynn
So many baby chicks.
worked with her Virginia Department of Wildlife Resources team to keep the colony away from the construction crews expanding the tunnel. But even their winter trip south didn't stop them from coming back to their summer haven.
These birds don't want to try to be moved over to the eastern shore. We will be unsuccessful if we try to do that. We have the opportunity for this colony to nest, and it's Virginia's largest seabird colony.
Despite this concrete ground where dozens of nests now sit, this spot is not permanent, and time is of the essence. Fewer birds of some species are returning to Fort Wool. It's a sad reality Gwynn hopes to fix with a more suitable environment.
I have a large to-do list on my wall. It has one item: build an island.
A man-made island just for these birds. It's a wildlife-saving effort with the help of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, giving space for flocks to flourish and breathing new life into this ecosystem.
And this is really just, to me, heartwarming to see all these birds here, to see how successful they are. It really is a conservation success story in the most amazing sense.
This Hampton summer sanctuary will soon move to a year-round home, welcoming more to stay.
We got one chance to get it right, so we want to make sure we do it well.
In Hampton, I'm Ann Sparaco for 13 News Now. It's a day we say we'll never forget. But for Kayla Fallon Aristivo, she doesn't have a choice.
In some ways, it feels like it was never even my life at all. Hey, bub.
She can't forget the day her life changed.
My father, William Lawrence Fallon Jr., passed away when I was 8 years old.
She doesn't remember much about her dad, but the day she lost him is ingrained in her memory.
And I was told that my father was lost, to which my response was, well, let's go find him. But I mean, it was months before I understood that it was terrorism.
Fallon worked as an IT manager in the North Tower, a husband, a father of two, and a hardworking man.
And I remember everything, things that other people will never understand. And none of us have answers to the exact nature of how our family members died.
Stuck in the dark about how her father died, Aristivo says the pain brought her further into the darkness. She ended up feeling depressed, abusing drugs, even tried taking her own life.
That it was me looking for anything to fill the void in my life.
After deciding she wanted a different outlook, she wanted others to know there is always a choice.
It's a good boy.
Aristivo and her husband started their nonprofit Trails of Purpose, where they offer counseling and mental health services to active military members, veterans, and their families.
And it was really born out of that passion to put a purpose to pain. People are finding real healing and real growth out here.
Aristivo says she doesn't like dwelling in the past, but she says it reminds her of the opportunities of tomorrow.
Stop trying to bite my fingers.
In Chesapeake, Ann Sparaco for 13 News Now.